Good morning, class. Happy Monday. Welcome to your first day of spelling for the week. I hope you are all ready to go with your spiral notebook already out and on a fresh page so we can get started. So today we're going to just talk a little bit about what we're working on for this week in step 21, and then I will also give you your word list, okay? So you can start by writing today's date. It's Monday, April 19th, and then our title is step 21, the long A spelled EA, okay? So half of our words are going to have that pattern, and then the other half of our words we're actually going to be thinking about the spelling strategies that we have, and they should be at the beginning of your spiral book, but I've got the three here that we're kind of keeping in mind for this week listed right here. Okay, well, let's start with the long A spelled EA. So an example of that is the word break. Okay, so the EA in the middle here come together to make the long A sound, break. Okay, so it's like when you break something. Okay, so let's look at the rest of our word list that works with these two letters coming together to make the long A sound, okay? So, your first word is actually bear, like the animal, okay? And you see the EA coming together and they're making a long A sound. Okay, then we have great. Like great job. Okay, and that's our EA. Okay, then we have wear. Like we wear clothes. Okay, and then we do have break on the list. Okay, and then we have steak, like what you eat. Nice piece of juicy steak. Okay, so those are the words that have the EA pattern that makes the long A sound. Okay, and so then the second half of our word list are words, they're just normal words, but they're words that we can apply these spelling strategies to figure out. Okay, and so let's just talk about those for a moment. So the first strategy is to pronounce first spelling. So that's when you kind of like really emphasize what you're saying and pronounce it so you can kind of hear the different sounds that are being made so that you can figure out the letters that will be used. So like pronouns, you know, that's how you draw it out a little bit, okay? The second strategy is to analyze the word. So thinking about like the parts of the word, okay? So again, you're kind of spreading out the word in your head, but when you're analyzing the word, you're kind of like imagining what might come together to make the word. Okay, and then the third strategy is called scratch paper spelling. And so that's when what you do is you just have like a spare piece of paper that you don't care much about. That's why it's called scratch paper, because you're probably going to scratch it. And what you do is you write the word a couple different ways and just look at it and see what looks right. Okay, and so that one you kind of have to have a little bit of experience with the words, of course, you know what might look right, but that is how you use that strategy. Okay, so here are the next 5 words, and we'll talk about these strategies a little bit. So your next word is fact, okay, and we can kind of draw it out like fact, so we can really hear the C that we're using. Okay, so that's when we're pronouncing it for spelling. Fact. Okay? Okay? And then we actually have the word next. Okay? And again, like we can draw it out so that we can really pronounce the X that we're hearing. Okay? Okay, word number, let me correct myself. I've got my numbering wrong here. So we have 6 and 7. Okay, word number 8 is between. And between, we can kind of analyze the word and think about the two parts of it. It's 2 syllables. So we have be. Okay, we know that we spell B with B-E. Okay, normally. unless you're talking about a bumblebee. And then the second half is tween, okay? And so we can kind of hear the T and the W that we're using, and then we know that we can use a double E to make the E sound, and then we'll just end it with an N, okay? So that's between, okay? And then word number 9 is ground, okay? So you can use any of the strategies for this one. We can kind of sound it out. We also want to think about the fact that the ow sound has different ways to spell it, and we can see that the OU just looks right, okay? All right, and the last word on the list is horse, okay? And again, you can probably use scratch paper spelling for that one because you have an idea of what it should look like, right? And so you can kind of write it out different ways if you want, but that is how you spell horse. Okay, so there is your lesson and your word list all in one. So make sure you have all of those down and that they're spelled correctly. I'm just going to underline break again so we see that. And then that's it for today.